Hello, my name's Fiona, and welcome to the Dark Side of Tarot. Thought it would be worthwhile to make a short video about some of what people think of as the dark tarot cards. Um, Things like card 13, which is Death, the Hanged Man. I think where this comes from, where people's anxiety about tarot comes from, is that people when filmmakers want to let the audience know that something spooky is about to happen, there are various tricks that they use. One of which is the sound of a tawny owl in the background. You'll be looking out for this now, and they will add that owl hoot to a nighttime scene, even in films set in Ireland. And there are no tawny owls in Ireland. They can't swim. They can't fly across the Irish Sea, and apparently they haven't worked out how to use ferries yet. So this whole thing about letting an audience know, oh, there's something spooky, and having tarot cards, it's as authentic as an Irish tawny owl. Let's just have a look at them, because if you read tarot, if you read for your friends, certainly if you start reading professionally in any way, even if it's only at like a village fete, or maybe I don't know, you might want to, if once people know that you can read tarot, you'll get people saying, oh, the Parent Teachers Association are organising an event. Can you come along and do a few readings at the school? And of course, a lot of the time, they'll ask you to wear a caftan and dangle earrings, and it's a bit of fun fortune telling. But the trouble is, even in that situation, of course, you're going to get a genuine profile about where your querent's life is right now. And so you will get some of the sort of slightly scary cards come up. So what would you do if you were there, you know, perhaps at a fundraising thing, and someone has, you know, the Tower, the Devil, Death, the Hanged Man. It, you don't really want to ruin their evening. But on the other hand, this is what tarot does. It says this is where your life is. This is where your current path takes you. These are the opportunities available to you. It's up to you to make a decision. Yeah. The most frequently asked question is, I just want to know what's going to happen. Well, what is going to happen? It depends an awful lot on what you choose to do. Here we are, things like Tales of the Unexpected. You'll find the Hanged Man. There he is. In some respects, kind of the bane of tarot readers' lives, I think. In films, they'll usually use the Marseille Tarot, the really scary looking, very old deck, which I don't think anyone works with. This is the Rider Waite. This is a 1910 deck, so this is used very frequently on the internet because it's out of copyright. So the Hanged Man, he is alive. And if you look at him, he's actually very calm and very serene. Now, the Hanged Man actually says, life is on hold, life is on pause. The minor equivalent is the Four of Swords. Some situations are like being pregnant. It's going to last 9 months. There is nothing you can do about speeding this process up. People will often ask things like, oh, I've got a house up for sale. My house has been up for sale for over a year. It's not selling. I've put the red flowers out the front and it's still not selling. And so what you're hoping for in that situation is a card in the future of like the Chariot driving life forward, Judgment stepping up from out of a hole. You're looking for the cards of rapid change. But of course, tarot gives you what it gives you. And if you do get the Hanged Man, then it's just saying, well, it looks like everything is stuck. Maybe there's some reason why you're just not meant to be moving at the moment. You're meant to carry on living in that house for some time. Maybe the house is waiting for the right person to come and choose it. Look at him. His hands are tied. He is upside down. It's a bit like All Father Odin hanging upside down on the world tree. He is stuck. He needs someone else to come and cut the bonds that are holding his hands together. You just go with it. Just relax. Just wait for this situation to resolve itself. That's probably not the answer that someone wants to hear. But tarot doesn't necessarily give people the answers that they want to hear. We don't create a spread. We simply interpret what's there. If you are a little bit concerned about how people are going to react, maybe if you are working somewhere where maybe people aren't going to take this too seriously, like, the fundraising thing that you've been invited to, you can work with a newer, less scary deck. This is the Good Tarot, which was designed by Colette Baron-Reid, and I am very grateful for her kind permission for using her copyrighted cards in this video. In this version, the Hanged Man is actually not bound. He's upside down. That he's not bound, he's not tied. It's almost as if he's floating in midair. And I think that's quite nice, because sometimes if you're in that situation where you've got a house up for sale and you can't, everything is stuck, everything's on hold, you can't get your life moving until you've sold your house, you do feel as if you're free falling and you do feel as if you're floating in midair. But the answer is just relax, just make the best use of this time. There is nothing that you need to be doing. Simply go with it. The really scary card, the one that people always extremely worried about getting, is, of course, here we are, 13, death. Terry Pratchett fans will, of course, be very familiar with the concept of death on his white horse. In some tarot decks, in the card of the Sun, which is, of course, very happy, very joyous, a piece of really good news, also depicts a white horse. And apparently it's the same white horse. So one really joyous, happy, positive thing, and one maybe not so joyous, not so happy, not so positive thing. Or is it? Death isn't necessarily, in fact, is very seldom someone actually passing into spirit. Death is much more often something about your life coming to an end. Perhaps it's actually getting your decree nisi, decree absolute, that piece of paper that says, right, that's it, you've finally got your divorce coming through. So you may have been in Hanged Man territory for a long time, perhaps getting through a difficult, unpleasant divorce process, and then finally, that's over, that's done, my marriage is finally dead, I can now bury it. And that is very often actually the message of death. is let go. Right, it was a very difficult process, dealing with the solicitors, dealing with the difficult ex, and all the rest of it, but it's over now. Let go of it. Don't hang on to that bitterness. Um, make a fresh start, make a new beginning. Yeah. It's just part of the natural cycle of things, that something's come to an end in order that we can build something else. In Colette Baron-Reid's Good Tarot, she turned death into transformation. I rather like that. It is actually, this is the point where something new is born from the decay of something old. I like that transformation. That's actually quite a good one. And of course, the other thing that goes with that process is the Tower. Someone said to me once the Tower is the worst card in tarot. Not really. If you think about what the word tower conjures up to us, the Tower of London, the princes in the tower. It is good. Good things don't happen in towers, do they? You know, Rapunzel had to be released from her tower by a handsome prince. The tower is a kind of prison situation. Occasionally, it will turn up if there is someone in your querent's life who is literally in prison, but more often the tower is a prison that we create for ourselves. This is specifically the Tower of Babel. There's quite a lot of biblical imagery in some of the older tarot decks. Perhaps it's the relationship that you've outgrown. Very often it's the job that you've outgrown. An awful lot of people really, really need to change their lives. And what they really, really need to change is their working life. An awful lot of people are just stuck in the wrong job, and they don't have the courage to stretch their wings, sign up to an online course, do whatever it takes to actually just take that little bit of risk and leave a situation that you know you need to get out of. That brings us rather neatly to this chappie. We use the phrase, better the devil you know. Is it really? The devil in tarot isn't a bad character in and of himself, actually. There they are. They are roughly supposed to be Adam and Eve, but there's a man and a woman chained to the. Except they're not. If you actually look at the card closely, you'll see that they could take those chains off their heads if they really wanted to, very easily. They are actually binding themselves to this situation. So perhaps the devil is just going to the same workplace every day and just going through it and getting nothing else out of it apart from money appears in the bank, and that's it. It's often a card of addiction, actually. So if this turns up with the card of temperance, then you're certainly temperance reversed. You're kind of looking for signs of drinking too much. Or for women, it's often relationships. Actually, it's very often the abusive relationship that she's hanging. It's that I can change him, I can help him, he needs me. It is that kind of thing. This is part of the joy of tarot, actually, is it's not really about helping people as such, because it's their life, it's their journey, it's their responsibility. But it's about saying to people that this is where your life is. These are the issues. What are you going to do about overcoming these challenges? Or are you just going to stay here? Are you just going to stay living in that tower? Are you just going to stay chained to a life that you have outgrown, a life that you need to get out of? In the good tarot, in the Baron-Reid tarot, the devil, old Nick, becomes temptation. And of course, there's the biblical image of the apple, the forbidden fruit of the Garden of Eden. This is card number 15, and of course, if you add the 1 and 5 together, you get 6, the number of the beast. Temptation. Are you actually tempted just to stay where you are? Tempted just to let everything carry on, while perhaps around you your friends' lives are changing, growing and developing? The essential lesson of tarot is we are here to grow, we are here to change. We are not here to simply stay chained to the same situation day in, day out, year in, year out. But perhaps we are tempted with that. Wind in the Willows, in a way, phrased that really nicely. It's like Mole being in his little hole, his little comfortable mole hole, and Rashi pulled him out of it and made him go off and have adventures on the river and actually experience life. So perhaps what we're all really tempted to do is stay within our comfort zone, living in our little molehill. In tarot, it's the minor cards are the 9 of Cups, which is being safe and secure. But isn't safe sometimes a little bit boring? It's your choice. It's your life. It's what you want to do with it. Judgment, the last trump. Again, very biblical. Pulling yourself up from out of a hole. But the emphasis in that statement is pulling yourself up from out of a hole. And that is right at the end of the Fool's journey, being reborn, making a fresh start. But the card of Judgment, sometimes it doesn't say this is what is going to happen. It says this is what you need to make happen. You know, you need to get out there and start applying for jobs that are a little bit outside your comfort zone. Go parachuting. Go and jump out of an aeroplane. Your parachute will open. You will just float nicely down to earth. Personally, when I'm reading for people, the card that I find the most difficult to deal with is this one. Come on, this is a lot more scary than the Tower or death, isn't it? But there's a little bit of let you into a little bit of a secret about this card. 10 of Swords. 10s, of course, are something coming to an end. The Rider-Waite tarot deck was drawn by a lady called Pamela Coleman Smith. That's her signature there, right at the bottom. And this was drawn in 1910. She wasn't a particularly great artist. She didn't need to be, because she spent her life working on theatre sets. So a lot of the things that she created were only intended to be seen by an audience, sort of from quite a long way away. So in 1910, theatres were using the kind of sets that we use in panto now, very definite. And when you look at this, there's quite a lot of her cards. You can look at them and you can see actually the characters in them are actors on a stage. And what it says is, are you being yourself or are you acting out a part? That's not, if you're reading for a close friend, you can probably get away with saying that. If you're reading for someone, for a complete stranger, you need to be a little bit more tactful. But here you can see there's a backdrop, and you can see that line across the back where the backdrop meets the actual stage. The key to understanding a lot of tarot cards is to look at the sky, and here we have it's the darkest. The dawn is breaking on the horizon. It doesn't matter how bad a situation is, the wheel of fortune will turn. You will find a way out of this. But this particular character, if you look at him, he is an actor. That's not real blood. It's just a red cloth. And it says you've been stabbed in the back. Now, to say to some people, you feel you've been stabbed in the back lately, that people will often take that, or you can say, well, do you feel as if you've been stabbed in the back, or is that a bit too dramatic? Perhaps you've been denied promotion at work. Perhaps you've been made redundant. Is it really that bad? Are you taking this too personally? If you've been made redundant, it's not you personally. It's just that, the state of the economy and all the rest of it. It's up to you how much you sugarcoat your readings, how honest you are. Do you want to say to people, well, look, this has happened. Come on, you can create something better from this. Every cloud has a silver lining. This is an opportunity to move forward. Maybe that's not what people want to hear. Tarot is a very powerful tool for looking at your life and saying, right, yeah, actually, this is where I'm at, and either yes, it's fine. I've got a lot, I've got a lot more in my life than perhaps I thought about. Yeah, you're right. I need to make changes. Yes, I'll start going to a yoga class. I'll join a gym, and I'll actually go. Yes, I'll start doing I'll sign up to evening classes. I'll start doing some online courses, doing whatever. Or, sometimes it just says, well, everything's fine. Just relax. Just enjoy what you have. Yeah. Very, very rarely do you get the message of, oh, you're going to inherit a large amount of money. In fact, I've never, ever been able to give anyone that, which is what a lot of people are looking for. But just, go with what the tarot is really saying, go with the true message. Because life, of course, is a journey and is an adventure. Tarot is about the fool, about the fool's journey. This can sometimes be a card that worries people a little bit, because to call someone a fool can be an insult. But the fool is prepared to take a little bit of risk, and he's going off and he's having adventures, and this is what we're here for. We're here to live, we're here to grow, we're here to develop. In the storytelling tradition, the fool is usually a third and youngest son, and he goes off, and he always succeeds. So we're here to live, we're here to grow, we're here to have fun. So whatever you do with your own personal tarot journey, enjoy it and have fun with it. And if some dark cards turn up in a reading, listen to what they're saying, but they're usually saying, you can get through this. There are no problems in life. There are only challenges. And without challenges, we do not grow, we do not develop. On that note, this humble fool will wish you all a very good day. I do have other videos, some of which are about storytelling, some of which are about craft work. But there you are. Hope to see you again. Have fun.